Hi, everybody. Welcome back and thank you for being here. I'm afraid this may not be a fun weekend video. For the past 2 days, I have been rather sad about a lot of things and nothing in particular. But I'm going to start this video on a slightly political note because, in a way and strangely, it is politics, which for a change is causing my sadness, along with some personal stuff and disappointments. Anyway, as you know, we recently had our general elections, and please don't even ask me what the outcome was on local and provincial level, because truly, I don't care. You see, here it does not matter what you do or say, or most of the time even vote for. The ones coming in will eventually do what they want, and they will continue to give themselves ridiculous raises while recovering those increases from the public and giving the public nothing in return. We have not one day regretted moving to Oudtshoorn because of the convenience, having everything close, doctors, shops, hairdressers, etc. But is it paradise? No, it is not. It is a big town and growing, but I call it a patchy town. Why? Because it has the worst roads and streets I have seen in a very long time. Every now and then a pothole gets too deep, and then they patch it. Hence the name Apache Town. A patchy here and a patchy there. I think it is now just over a month ago that we had those big rains and floods, and we still have reddish brown water coming out of our taps. It is a disgrace, and it makes me sad because this is a town with so much history and so much potential. But because the administration can't get it together, it will likely never live up to its potential. On national level, it came as absolutely no surprise that the ANC is leading again. It was inevitable, and therefore all I can say is I'm just grateful. Cyril Ramaphosa is back in the driving seat. He is indeed the best on offer at the moment. Maybe he is not as strong as we expected him to be, but in my opinion, he handled COVID very well, and he is a very good diplomat. End of story. Okay, so now we've dealt with South Africa, so you cannot say that I am being unfair. So let me move on to the United States, where most or the biggest contingent of my subscribers actually reside. And honestly and frankly, my friends, your politics and your politicians are not my number one interest. I know the basics, and I've gotten to know on a superficial level some of your politicians because of the research I do every day and the amount of reading I do and the videos I watch. And I've formed a very basic personal opinion on some of them. For instance, I have a personal affinity for someone like Senator John Kennedy, and I had some correspondence with Ted Cruz, or in his office, and he or they responded, which I admire. And basically, that is it. I keep an eye on the news so that I stay more or less informed, and that is it. But having said all of this, I am very sad and very, very angry with the American people. And sorry, I actually mean some of you, not all of you, obviously. I said this before and I'm going to say it again. I do not care about Joe Biden's politics anymore, or what kind of politician he was before, or what his belief system was. It's all water under the bridge at this point. But he was a man who got up every morning, got dressed, went to work, and took care of his family. A human being who deserves some measure of respect, regardless of his politics. And it saddens me to see this human being being paraded around like a puppet when he obviously suffers from dementia and often is and looks lost and confused. His body is stiff and likely sore or painful. And how many times must he fall over during his tenure? Why do people think it is funny when he calls on and talks to dead people? It is not funny. It is not funny. It is sad. My mother has dementia. My grandmother had dementia. And who knows, in a couple of years it may be my fate, my sister's fate, or that of my brother. And we are indeed trying everything to prevent it, but who knows? It isn't unlikely that one or two of us may end up with dementia. And so could any of you or your family members. So ask yourself, how would you like it if you or your family member is paraded out like that? How would you like the media and the world laughing at you because it looked like you pooped in your pants on stage? So, if no one would like that kind of treatment for themselves or their family members, then why the hell are something like 43% still voting to keep the man in office? Now look, I understand that it is likely to keep Trump out. But why then keep the two of them as presidential nominees? Where are the strong leaders in both parties who are in their, say, late 40s, 50s, or even 60s? Why are the two main parties nominating two presidential candidates who will be in their mid and late 80s at the end of their presidential term? It is ridiculous. It is insane. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not taking any political side or stance at all. I do not care who you vote for or whether you vote Democrat or Republican. It really, honestly and truly is none of my business. But I no longer laugh at Joe Biden's antics and gaffes. I cry when I observe it. Real tears, and it breaks my heart. Jill Biden and whoever else is propping him up should be charged with abuse. Okay, now half my subscribers are likely mad at me, but you know what? That is my opinion, my truth, and that is all I can ever promise you, to be honest. So, it is my honest opinion. It is what it is. Okay, so on to the United Kingdom. In a few days, on the 4th of July, Britain will have its general elections. And I must admit that I'm nervous about that one. Remember, England is like my little piece on the side. I'm married to South Africa, but England is my boyfriend. I do not know how else to describe it. I actually looked into Sir Keir Starmer and Labour, and of course, over the past year or so, I read the positives and criticisms on Rishi Sunak and obviously the Conservative Party. And again, I am not going to open my mouth about British politics either. It is not my business. But what really saddens me about Britain, its politics, and its monarchy is how it is now all openly becoming about money and favors. But Bookie, it has always been that way, I can hear you say. Yes, I say, but never, never so blatant. A good, excellent, and brilliant example is the Japanese state visit. Yes, it appears that the chances are better than usual to almost good that Labour and Keir Starmer will prevail in this election. So what happens? At the state banquet, Keir Starmer, who is not Prime Minister yet, and who knows, may not even become Prime Minister, we won't know until, say, the 5th or 6th of July. But he gets to sit in the actual current Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's seat, or the seat the Prime Minister traditionally sits in next to the King's senior aide. And why? Or shall I rather say and tell you what it looks like? It looks like the King and his aides are aware that Sir Starmer is not exactly a royalist. So what do? They lick his boots and give him special treatment. And you know what? It makes me sick. Not the actual act of putting him in the Prime Minister's seat, but the principle. The fact that people can be bought with so little. It makes me sad that the once mighty kingdom is being reduced to buckling to the whims of a mentally unstable prince and his Z-list actress wife, and have to remove an acting Prime Minister from his seat so that the possible future Prime Minister does not take a privilege or two away from you. I mean, why? Why also allow your judiciary to buckle to a mentally unstable, potentially criminal ex-prince? So Harry attempted to destroy evidence in the case he brought. Really? Number one, the case should be dismissed with cost immediately. And number two, Harry should be charged with contempt of court. And again, why? Because that is the law. That is what would happen to you and me if we pull the same stunts. Looking for reason to remove all of Harry's titles? Well, there you have it. A criminal act. But will the court do anything? Likely not. Will the king and the crown do anything? Likely not. Will the government do anything? Likely not. No, instead they will lick boots, if they have to, and place a candidate Prime Minister in the acting Prime Minister's seat, etc. It's sad, because it's so weak. And no, I do not believe it was done to help him through the procedures of the banquet. Because if a man does not know which utensil to use, then he should not be running for Prime Minister. So do not come with such nonsense and underestimate the people's intelligence. Okay, guys, well, I have very little to say about Harry's obvious attempt to destroy evidence except what I have already said. I do not assign to the theory that Harry and Meghan are operatives or spies or infiltrators or whatever conspiracy theorists are dreaming up. I just do not think Harry or Meghan have the brain power or mental capacity for it. However, are they being manipulated and used because of their ignorance and maybe substance abuse? Maybe, or I could almost say, well, why not? But the fact remains, I can go back all the way to a video I made almost 4 years ago in which I explained that because they are not very bright, because they are greedy yet ignorant, because they have no sense of class, style, and decorum, yet have an inflated ego sense of self-importance, Harry and Meghan are some of the most dangerous people you can have around. They are almost comparable to cult leaders, except that they are nearly untouchable because his father is a sovereign, a king, the head of state of several countries. It makes me sad and it makes me sick. Okay, guys, now the question is, will this video stay up? I don't know. I do not think I said anything too risky in the video. All I did was share my feelings and my emotions on the state of 3 countries I truly care about and whose people I care about. I got to know so many of you and heard and lived through so much with some of you that it really hurts me to see how all of this impacts on our lives. And really not just mine, but also yours. And I mean that whether you live in England, America, Canada, New Zealand, India, or anywhere else in the world. I feel what is right and what is wrong, and all these grey areas are starting to destroy our communities and our children's future. Anyway, guys, I think I need to chill. I have quite a bit to work through with you in the coming week. And as from Monday, I promise I'll be back on the Royal Beat. So have a great weekend and take good care of yourselves until we meet again on the next one. Bye.